In this video, we are going to take up one more problem on development of lateral surfaces of solids. How to analyze this problem and solve manually. The problem reads as a rectangular prism of base 30 mm and 20 mm, 30 mm by 20 mm and height is 60 mm, rests on HP on its base with longer base side inclined at 40 degrees to VP. It is cut by a plane inclined at 45 degrees to HP and perpendicular to VP and bisects the axis. Draw the development of the lateral surface of the prism. First, we should understand what is the lateral surface. The lateral surface is the one which is perpendicular to HP. The surface which is perpendicular to HP is always called the lateral surface. So first is I need to consider a rectangular prism. How to solve this? In the initial position, you make the rectangular prism, that is the rectangle, one of the rectangular faces. Which is the rectangular faces what we are talking about? ADSP. This is a rectangular face which is perpendicular to HP and inclined to VP. So he says in the problem, one of the rectangular, the longer base side is inclined at 40 degrees to VP. So which is the longer base side? The longer base is AD, which is 30 mm, or BC, again that is also 30. These two longer edges are parallel to each other. So which makes an angle of 40 degree with respect to VP. Since the inclination can be seen in HP, so therefore you are creating a rectangle of 20 by 30 in the HP, or that is in the top view. So how to, then the height is given to be 60. So then he says the section plane which is perpendicular to VP and inclined at 45 degrees to HP bisects the axis of the prism. So which is the axis? The axis is O1. You can see here O dash and O1 dash. On that axis, it is bisecting the axis. Since it is bisecting, so it is at a height of 30 mm from the base, because 60 mm is the actual height of the prism. So bisection means it is exactly at the midpoint. So 60 by 2 will going to give you 30. So you have to get on the midpoint, you have to draw a inclined plane, that is the section plane, inclined at 45 degrees to HP. So how to start with this problem? So here, first we are going to draw the XY line and we are going to mark HP and VP. So in the initial position, he says one of the longer base edge is inclined at 40 degrees to VP. So what I need to do, you consider any point in the horizontal plane and draw a horizontal line. Then you consider any point on that line. By using the protractor with reference to the horizontal line, you measure an angle of 40 degrees to VP and then draw an inclined line. Then by using the compass, you take any point. From there, you cut an arc on that 40 degree inclined line. And then you mark that point. So here, you mark this as D and this as E. Through the center point of A, with reference to AD line, you measure an angle of 90 degree by using the protractor. Then draw a perpendicular line to this inclined line AD. Similarly, with D as center with respect to AD, you measure an angle of 90 degrees and then draw a perpendicular line to AD. Then by using the compass with A as center, take a radius of 20, cut an arc on this perpendicular line. Similarly, with D as center, you cut an arc on this perpendicular line for a distance of 20 mm. And you mark this point as B and you mark this point as C. Then join A to B, B to C, C to D and D to A with a dark line. Since it is a rectangular prism, so we have written the top surface and at the bottom surface also you have a rectangle of 20 by 30. So when you look from the top view, ABCD is near to the observer, so it becomes visible. And similarly, you have at the bottom, that is at this bottom surface, you have PQRS, so that is you mark P in bracket, Q in bracket, R in bracket and then S in bracket. Now since you need to bisect the axis, so what I need to do? I need to find out the center point of this rectangle. How do I able to get the center point of the rectangle by joining the two opposite corners. So that means it is a diagonal. So joining a BD and AC. You got a center, you got the intersection point. You mark that as O and O1 in bracket. Then from the XY line you measure 60 mm and draw a horizontal line. Then project the point from ABCD to the front view and extend it till up to 60 mm. So then as you look from the draw a vertical projector from A, B, C and D, all are drawn to a height of 60 mm, which is the above XY line. As you look from the front view, A, B, C is near to the observer, so A dash, B dash, C dash is visible. D is coinciding with BC, so D dash becomes invisible. And when you look from the front view, O is inside this ABCD, so obviously O dash will be in bracket. Similarly, as you look from the front view, PQR is parallel to PQR is near to the observer, so P dash, Q dash, R dash is visible. And S is away from the observer, so S dash becomes invisible because it is hiding by the edge QR. Then you mark that point as O1 dash. Then here you mark this point as O dash. As you look from the front view, PQR is near to the observer, so P dash, Q dash, R dash is visible. S is away from the observer, so S dash is invisible. Since O1 is at the center point of PQRS, obviously when you look from the front view, that edge PQR will going to hide this point O1 dash, so you keep O1 dash is in bracket. Then since you want to bisect the axis, which is the axis is O dash and O1 dash, which is not visible. So on this axis line, you measure a distance of 30 mm from the base, that is from the XY line, and then draw a horizontal line. So what I have done so far is I have bisect the axis. What is bisection? The bisection is dividing a line exactly into two equal parts. Then by using, with reference to this point, you draw a horizontal line. Then by using the protractor with reference to this horizontal line, you measure an angle of 45 degrees and then draw an inclined line which is passing through on either side of the longer edges. So this is represented by big dash, small dash, big dash, small dash, like that. Then once you get this point, so these points is here. So now what I need to do, I need to darken this. How to do that? A dash is a visible point, P dash is a visible point, so visible to visible is visible. But the section plane is passing through the edge A dash, P dash. Therefore, till here only it should be dark. Beyond that, that is A dash to this point will not be visible. So it will not be there. So that is the reason why we have not shown any dark line here. Similarly, it is from this point to Q dash and similarly from this point to R dash. Since all these edges are visible, so obviously these edges are also becomes visible because two visible edges. So a visible to visible is always visible. So then once you do that, so from this point to P dash and from this point to Q dash and from this point to R dash, then from here both D dash and S dash are invisible because invisible, it is in bracket. D dash is in bracket, S dash is in bracket. So invisible to invisible is always invisible. So wherever you crossing the section at that point, from that point, you draw invisible edges till to the XY line. So as you look from the front view, PQR is near to the observer, so P dash, Q dash, R dash is visible. S is away from the observer, so S dash becomes invisible. O1 is also away from the observer, so O1 dash will going to become invisible. So now, then from here to P dash only you have to darken, and from here to Q dash is only the edge which is visible. Similarly from C dash to R dash, and also that is from this point to S dash in bracket. So then O1 dash will be in bracket. So this is how you will be able to write the initial position of the rectangular prism. by considering a rectangle of 30 by 20 with one of the longer edges is inclined to VP at 40 degrees, and then the height of the prism is 60, and the section plane is passing through on the axis at the midpoint by rotating at an angle of 45 degrees. So once you do that, then since P, Q, R, S are all visible because it is resting on its base, so the base edge is not crossing to this base rectangle. So now I need to identify whether all the edges are in true length or not. So here AP, PQ, CR and DS all are near to the all are parallel to VP. So therefore you are getting the true length in VP. Where till suppose if you consider A dash to P dash is still it is visible, but since the section plane is cutting on this and that visible edge also has been seen here. So from this point to A dash, and from this point to B dash, and from this point to D dash, and from this point to C dash are not visible. So that means those edges are not retained and it is being removed. Develop the remaining portion of the prism. So here AP, BQ, CR and DS all are parallel to VP. So you are getting the true length in VP. Then A dash, B dash, B dash, C dash, C dash, D dash and D dash, A dash all are parallel to XY line in the front view. So obviously in the top view it will be in true length. That is AB will have 20, BC will have 30 and CD will have 30 and DA will also be equal to. Similarly A dash, B dash, C dash, D dash all are parallel to HP. So ABCD is in true length. Similarly, P dash, Q dash, R dash, S dash are all parallel to HP. So PQ, RS is also in true length. And AP, BQ, CR and DS all are parallel to VP. So this A dash, P dash, B dash, Q dash, C dash, R dash and D dash, S dash all are in true length. So hence, we need not have to find the true length. So how to develop this? So for developing, what I need to do is, so I need to, since I need not have to find the true length in any one of these places, so I can start directly. So what I can do is, I will draw a line from C dash toward this side. Similarly, from the end of XY, I will draw this line. So why I am doing this? Because AP, BQ, CR and DS all are in true length because it is parallel to VP. So in vertical plane, these are already in true length. That means AP, BQ, CR and DS all are parallel to VP only. So you are getting the true length. So since the longer edges are in true length, therefore I am projecting it directly from here to the side like this. Then I need to cut it and open. I will go to start from the extreme left corner of the solid. So you cut along AP and you mark those points AP here. Then after AP has been opened out, then the question is BQ. Is BQ is in true length? Sorry, AB is in true length? Yes, because B dash Q dash is parallel to VP. So therefore, since it is parallel to VP, here B dash Q dash is in true length, and then A dash B dash is parallel to HP. So AB will be in true length. Similarly, the same thing is for B dash Q dash. Since it is parallel to VP, so you measure the distance from A to B with A by using the compass with A center, cut an arc on this and you mark that point as B. Similarly from Q also you cut an arc on this and mark that point as Q, then join BQ. Once you do that, I have opened AB, then I want to open BC, so you measure the distance from B to C which is 30. From B you cut an arc on this, mark that point as C. Similarly from Q also you draw an arc which will be R. That is, what we are doing is we are opening B to C and B to Q and C to R and then Q to R. So now I need to open this. So then what I need to do, you measure the distance from B to C which is 30 mm and from here you cut it. So you mark that part as C. Then again C dash, D dash are parallel to HP. So you measure the distance from C to D. From C you cut an arc on this side and also from R you cut an arc. then join D and S with a line. Once you do that, now I need to open DA. So what is the DA? DA is 30 because D dash A dash is parallel. So you are getting the true length in DA. So that will be 30. That will also be 30. So then what I need to do is you measure the distance from D to A by using the compass. From D, you cut an arc on this side and you mark this point as A. Similarly from S also you do the same thing and you mark that point as B. Then after this, so what I need to do is I need to join. Why? Because A dash B dash is joined, B dash to Q dash is joined, then D dash to S dash is joined and C dash to R dash is joined. So we have the four rectangular faces. So here AB PQ is one rectangular face, BC QR is the second rectangular face, CD and DS are the third, then from DA, AP and PS and DS will be form the rectangular plane. So once this is the development of a rectangular prism without considering the section plane. Once you cut the section plane by exactly at the midpoint, that is on O dash and O1 dash, then I need to transfer these points. Why? Because so this is the development what I have done by without considering the bottom and top. Why? Because the bottom and top are not passed with any section plane. So naturally all the sectional points which you are going to get will be on the longer edges, that is AP, PQ, CR, DS and AP. Now how to start this? So this is development of the lateral surfaces of the prism without considering the section plane. Once the section plane is induced, what I need to do? So wherever the section plane is passing or cutting, and those points I need to open it here. How to start with? So initially we have to cut along AP and then open it. So here A dash B dash is parallel to VP, so you are getting the true length. So this is also A dash B dash will going to have the same length as AP. So obviously this A dash B dash is in true length. So then I need to mark this point. So since we have opened along AP, so AP is the first point. So you mark this point. So that is for you mark that point as 1 dash. Once you do that, so since it is cutting only on the longer edges, so after AP, which is the longer edge we are talking about, BQ, is the section plane is passing through B dash, Q dash? Yes, and you mark that point as 2 dash. Then I need to come to this, of course BC is not there and also QR is not there. So once you do that, now I need to transfer this point now, that is 2 dash. After AP, you will going to get PQ. So is B dash, Q dash is passing through the sectional point? Yes. So you mark that point as 2 dash. After BQ, you have CR. So after BQ, here you have DS. So you need not have to consider this. The manner in which you have opened here, the same thing I need to transfer it here. So obviously the CR is the one which is after BC and you mark those points CR. Then is the section plane is passing through the CR? Yes. And you mark that point as 3 dash. Then after CR, you have DS. Is D dash and S dash are visible? No. D dash is an invisible point and S dash is an invisible point. Invisible to invisible is always invisible. You mark that point as 4 dash. Since both D dash and S dash is not visible, therefore 4 dash will also becomes invisible. So after DS you have AP. AP is already made this 1 dash. So this is how you will be able to name the sectional point which is coming on the solid. Once you do that, now I need to transfer those points. How to do that? So since the sectional point 1 dash is on both A dash, P dash, then draw a horizontal projector from 1 dash to the side. You mark this point as 1. Why? Because 1 is on AP. So 1 will be on AP, and then AP will going to have 1 point. Then after that you have BQ. So draw a horizontal projector from 2 dash till the BQ is available. You mark that point as 2. Then after that BQ you have CR, that is C dash R dash. So and you mark that point as 3 dash. Then draw a horizontal line from 3 dash. Since it is cutting along C dash R dash, so you cut along CR. You mark this point as 3. So once you do that, after this CR, you are going to have DS. So that is D dash S dash. So you can see both D dash and S dash are invisible. So obviously this 4 dash will also becomes invisible. So draw a horizontal projector from this till to the longer edge GS, and you mark that point as 4. So once you do that, after DS you have AP. So AP we are already named up. So you project that till you are going to get this point 1. Then join the numbers now. First, how to do that? So join between 1 to 2, then 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 1. So this is the development of the rectangular prism. Then dot these lines 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 1 with a dot line. Then you can see in the front view 1 dash to P dash is only the visible point. So here 1 to P you can mark that. Similarly 1 to P on this. After that you have BQ, that is B dash to Q dash. So that will going to be 2 dash here. Then from here you draw a horizontal projector. 2 dash is on B dash Q dash, so it will go to cuts on BQ. So you mark that point as 2. Similarly, you draw a horizontal projector from C dash and R dash, which is to CR in the front view. So you mark that point as 3. Similarly, 4 dash is on DS. So from 4 dash you draw a horizontal projector till you are going to get DS. Then draw a horizontal projector from 1 dash and extend it till to the next point, which is AP here. So you mark that point as 1. So then join the numbers. So 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 1 with a dark line. So you can see 1 dash to P dash is dark. So you dot between 1 to P and 1 to P. Similarly, you have 2 dash, Q dash. 2 dash is the visible edge and Q dash is the visible edge. So visible to visible is always visible. So draw a horizontal projector from 2 dash till where? Till B dash Q dash, that is BQ. Then you mark that point as 2. Then 3 dash is cutting on C dash R dash. So you draw a horizontal projector from 3 to this CR in the developed surface. So you mark that point as 3. Then 4 is on D dash S dash. D dash is invisible, S dash is invisible. So 4 dash becomes invisible. Therefore, you have put this in bracket. Then draw a horizontal projector from 4 dash to DS and you mark that point as 4. Similarly, draw a horizontal projector from 1 till to the end of this AP line and you mark that point as 1. Then join the numbers. So 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 1 with a dark line. Then you dark between 1 dash to P dash. So you mark this as 1P and similarly 1P. Then after that you have 2 dash, 2 dash. So draw a vertical projector from 2 to 2. Then similarly from 3 to R. So 3 to R. Then 4 dash to S dash. So 4 to S. Then after 4 you have the freeness, which will going to be the 1 is the same as the 5. So 4 dash. So then draw a horizontal projector from 1 to P and again extend it to AP again. So you mark this point as 1. Then you join the numbers 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1 with a dark line. So as we can see 1 dash to P dash is dark, so you make it 1 to P and also 1 to P here. Then 2 dash to Q dash, so they are dark between 2 to Q. Then dark between 3 dash to R dash, so 3 to R. Then from 4 dash to S dash with a dotted line, so you dark them 4 to S. And similarly from 1 to P is already joined. So then you dot between P dash to R dash and from R dash to P dash. So you dot between P to Q, Q to R, R to S and S to P with a dark line. So you mark the portion as development and show the dimension, which is 20 and 30 and the overall distance is 100. and show all other dimensions, the height and the axis, then the rectangle of 20 by 30. So this is how you will be able to analyze this problem and solve this problem manually. How do I know that my problem is right? You can see here, once you start cutting along AP, and then automatically that line will going to become the end of this development. So join between A to B. So this is how you will be able to analyze and solve the development of lateral surfaces of solid by using the sketchbook. Thank you.